Welcome back to Hour 2 of Gun Owners Radio with your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz. Visit gunownersradio.com with your questions and comments, or to learn how to become a sponsor of the show. Time to get involved and get active. Together, we will win. Now here's Dave, Joe, and Michael on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is the second hour of Gun Owners Radio. And this hour is, and this is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
And this hour is brought to you by our very good friends at KaliKey. Drop in a KaliKey into any AR-15 or AR-10 to instantly make it a California-compliant weapon. For more information, check out KaliKey at KaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. And for self-defense and emergencies that can happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 265 days a year with a comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does U.S. Law Shield. What's your plan after you defend yourself and your family? Consider a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. All right, this segment is brought to you by the San Diego County Gun Owners at www.sdcgo.org. Don't forget to get your tickets to the Gun Prom. Just go to sdcgo.org or go to gunprom.com. Join today and make your voice heard. This is Joe Germisi's Covert Blog. And what was the topic this week, my friend?
So the topic this week, then, is everyday carry ammunition. This is the 10th article in that concealed carry lifestyle series that we started. This is, these articles are aimed at people that are new to concealed carry, so trying to answer some of the questions that they've got to figure out and some of the things they have to learn to do this. So today it's, what ammunition do you carry? And, when you're carrying concealed ammunition for personal defense, there's a couple of things you need to think about, or a couple of considerations. The first thing is, factory ammo or reloaded ammo. A lot of us that shoot a lot reload ammunition because it makes it much cheaper. It's a lot of fun. You can tailor the ammunition to kind of optimize it for whatever it is you're trying to do. So, some people might think, okay, I'm reloading this anyway. I've got a bunch of ammunition. I'll use that. Some problems with that, for personal defense, you really don't want to use reloaded ammunition. You want to use factory ammunition. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One reason is quality. When I reload, I try to be really meticulous. I try to be really careful, and I try to really check everything. And I will still occasionally end up with things like sometimes high primers, which will cause a misfire, which is a little bit annoying when it happens on the range. It's a little more annoying when it happens during a competition, but it's not something you want to happen if you really have a self-defense incident and you're really involved in a gunfight or something like that. So for your personal carry or for your self-defense stuff, you always want to have factory ammunition or high-quality factory ammunition.
Yeah, I really don't think there's a case to be made that reloads are ever as reliable as factory.
Yeah, and
no matter how good you are.
Well, and like I said, I go really slow. I mean, I check things all the time, and I still miss some things. I mean, something will move, some little screw will back out, a quarter turn or something on the press, and something's goofy, and it may take you a few rounds to notice that or something like that. So it's just not worth it.
Is it reloading just because you want to see if you can do it?
It saves you a lot of money if you're shooting a lot. And
well, for target practice, it probably would make perfectly good sense.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm shooting 1,000 rounds a week when we're not in this COVID lockdown thing, or 1,000 rounds a month. And, it's much better for me. Plus, it's fun. It's enjoyable to do that. But you don't want to be doing that with your concealed carry ammo. Yeah. The other question, or the other big thing to look at is, hollow points or ball ammo. And by ball ammo, we mean the rounded ammo that you probably use at the range all the time. And that's a lot cheaper. The hollow points tend to be more expensive. But again, most people would recommend using hollow points for self-defense ammunition. And a couple of reasons for that. The idea here is that if you have to use that gun to defend yourself, the idea is to stop the threat as quickly as possible. So realistically, if you have to shoot someone, you want to do as much damage as quickly as possible to stop that threat. And that's what the hollow points are intended to do. Unless you live someplace that's actually, it's funny. There's worse places than California. Hard to believe.
Something. Yeah.
Well, like New Jersey, for instance, hollow point ammunition is illegal. You can't,
ridiculous.
and it doesn't matter so much to them because they don't issue concealed carry either. But you really want to use hollow point ammunition. The ball ammo tends to not break up. It tends to not mushroom as it impacts the body, say, so it does less damage. So chances are it's going to be harder to stop the threat that you're trying to stop. The other thing with the ball ammo is if you do miss, it tends to ricochet more so than, say, a hollow point ammunition will. So you pretty much want to use factory ammo. You want to use hollow point ammo.
And hollow point is even higher quality than the factory ball ammo typically. I mean, unless you're getting like some kind of match grade or something like that. But if you're just buying like Winchester white box or something like that, hollow point ammo is going to be even higher quality than that. So you're even taking another step up. Yeah,
and the other thing with that too, and there's lots of manufacturers to choose from. There's lots of ammunition. Well, under normal circumstances, there's lots of ammunition out there. Right now, everything's pretty scarce. But there's lots of ammunition to choose from, and different people look for different things. You might be cost conscious. Your gun is another thing that you need to consider. I carry a Glock, and I shoot Glocks most of the time. With a Glock, because of the tolerances and the way they're designed, they're pretty happy with just about any kind of ammunition. Some guns are more picky, so you want to make sure that whatever you're shooting, you want to make sure your gun is happy with that, because, again, if you really do have to use this sometime, you don't need a malfunction. You don't need to have a problem. What I've been using, I've settled on Hornady's Critical Duty is what I use in my carry gun. I started with Hornady's Critical Defense, which is slightly different, which is actually more designed for my gun more, because the Critical Defense, the difference between the two, Critical Defense is designed more for the shorter barreled compact guns, whereas Critical Duty is optimized, I guess, for full-size guns.
I didn't know that. It's good info.
Yeah, and it's a matter of recoil. I guess they tune it to kind of reduce the recoil a little bit. For me personally, recoil is not an issue with my Glock 19. It doesn't bother me, so I'm real comfortable with the Critical Duty. But that's just for me. The other thing, Super Vel is another one that I looked at and works fine in my gun. So figuring out any good high quality ammunition. The other good thing with that too is like in the case of the Critical Duty, using a good factory load, it's very reliable, but the ballistics are all well known, and which is a good thing if you ever do end up in court or something like that after an incident. It's nice to be using stuff that's used by law enforcement agencies. The ballistics are very well understood, so it just takes away another possible thing that your attorney would have to deal with. So that's another good reason to do that. And third thing, another consideration, something I do is I rotate my ammunition in my carry gun. I tend to train with my carry gun probably a couple of times a month, which means I have to take the carry ammunition and the magazine out. I've got to unload my gun, and then I put in the ball ammo to train with. When from the ammunition point of view, I guess from the cartridges point of view, that racking a round into the chamber is kind of a violent motion for it. So there's some concern that if you constantly, if you're unloading it, loading it, unloading it, loading it, racking the same round over and over again, you could jar that bullet a little bit loose and cause a malfunction. So what I tend to do is when I do unload my carry ammunition, what I'll do is I'll take the round that was in the chamber, I'll put that at the bottom of my magazine, so I kind of cycle them through. And the other thing I do is I tend to shoot all of my carry ammunition. I'll shoot the whole magazine, say, once a year or something like that, just to cycle it through. I mean, you don't have to, but
so you don't
I
have
tend to do that.
You don't have like 5-year-old defense ammo sitting in your magazine. Is that the idea?
Yeah, and even though, ammunition's got a really long shelf life, it probably doesn't matter. But to me, I'm more comfortable doing that. Plus, that means no round in my magazine has been racked more than 2 or 3 times.
So does ammo have a guarantee?
That's interesting. I've never looked to see if ammo has a guarantee, but the quality is extremely high and the reliability is on that, because you can imagine, if they're missing things, if they're having defects, that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
With ammunition.
If there's some kind of defect, they'll step up. But if once ammo leaves the store, it's yours. They can't take it back or anything like that.
Gotcha. Good point. Good story. And how do people find your blog?
So again, that's SDCGO.org/blog. Yeah, there you go.
You don't read many of those, do you?
No, this is the 10th in that series. So again, if you're new to the concealed carry, take a look at the blog. Look up the so far 10 concealed carry lifestyle articles on it.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. This is Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, California assault weapon laws make it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? KaliKey converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR pattern rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution, no milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with KaliKey. Check out KaliKey at KaliKey.com. That's KaliKey.com. The segment's sponsored by the good folks at U.S. Law Shield, uslawshield.com. If you own any firearm, talk to the good folks at U.S. Law Shield about what happens after the bang. All right, this is a gear review. And it's done by Joe Germisi and I guess Michael Schwartz today. And it is on, of all things, the KaliKey.
The KaliKey. Now, everybody knows we've been talking about the KaliKey for at least a year, probably a couple of years now.
At least.
So they are a sponsor. We're going to do a review on them, but just full disclosure, they are a sponsor. They've been supporters of the radio show. They've been supporters of San Diego County Gun Owners.
Right.
But here's the thing. They are supporters because we went and found them. This is a good product that we liked and therefore wanted to promote. Mm-hmm. It's not only a high-quality product that we found, but it's also a good solution, like the commercial says, to the assault weapons laws. So we wanted to Ascanio, the guy that owns the company, is a fantastic guy. Nobody works harder to put themselves out of business because he really, really wants to get rid of these assault weapons. But his whole goal when I first spoke with him was to give people a real option to convert their semi-automatic rifle, specifically their AR pattern rifle, to be able to comply with the laws. So they didn't have to spend a mint, trying to convert their entire fleet or make these huge changes to their firearm.
And he figured it out.
He figured it out, and he nailed it. And he made sure to, he was very concerned with quality, and I think he absolutely nailed it. So we're going to review this. Now, look, there's a lot of people out there, not even a lot, but there's a handful of people out there that are the I'm not going to comply folks.
Right.
And you know what? You're never going to be happy with the compliance part. But I've also found that group, frankly, the I'm not going to comply group, are also the I'm not going to do anything to help group either.
I'm not going to wear a mask.
Well, I'm not going to show up at a city council meeting. I'm not going to support a candidate. I'm just going to sit here and complain. So if you're one of those folks, we're not going to make you happy with the KaliKey. Right. You're not going to comply. Okay, we get it. You're way cooler than we are. That's fine. But for the folks out there that are actually working hard to change these laws, and they want to make sure that they're in compliance until we get these laws changed, I think you're going to really like the KaliKey. And the reason is because it's so easy. Now, I've also seen that a number of people aren't really seeing the true genius in this thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have Joe hold it up, and what you're looking at on camera here in Facebook is this is a bolt carrier group that you get from KaliKey. And rather than the gas key on the top of the bolt carrier group, there's the KaliKey. So what he's done is it's basically on the bolt carrier group, the charging handle is permanently attached to the bolt carrier group. So what that ends up doing is it's no longer a semi-automatic rifle. Now, if you look at the assault weapons laws, it's contingent on being a center fire semi-automatic rifle. If it's not a semi-automatic rifle, it's not an assault weapon. So, according to the state of California. So, what you can do here is have this configuration in your AR, and what ends up happening is you pull the trigger, and then you actually have to charge the handle again. So you pull it; it's got a nice big charging handle, ergonomic. It's perfect. The one that you're seeing on Facebook is actually plated like a gold color. It normally comes in black. This was a promotional one, but it looks really, really great. You can actually get the KaliKey for your bolt carrier group separately for $89, or they'll send you an entire bolt carrier group with the KaliKey attached. And that's really the way to go. It's twice as much money. It's $180, I believe, for the entire bolt carrier group with your KaliKey attached. Now, a lot of people see this and they go, "Oh gosh, I don't want a straight, a single shot AR." None of us do. None of us do. But because it's not an assault weapon, then you don't have to worry about the evil features. You can have a foregrip, you can have a pistol grip, you can have a detachable magazine, you can have a telescoping stock. All those features, all those ridiculous aesthetics that make a firearm illegal in California are you don't have to worry about it with a KaliKey. So, okay. Well, now what? I have this basically a single shot AR. Yeah, but you know what? If you bought the KaliKey with the bolt carrier group, you still have your old bolt carrier group. So let's say you go into Nevada maybe you go to Front Sight, maybe you go to one of the other schools, and you want to convert it back to a standard AR pattern rifle the way God intended it to be. Then all you have to do, how long does it take to change a bolt carrier group?
And that's what I was just going to bring up. That's a couple of minutes, maybe. Not even a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you crack
if you drag
it open.
out.
Yeah, if you're eating dinner at the same time.
Next time we should bring an AR in to show people how it goes in and out.
Yeah, and what it is you crack open that back takedown pin, you pull out the old bolt carrier and charging handle, you put in the KaliKey, you're done. This is seriously less than 30 seconds.
So you go from compliant to normal in 30 seconds, basically.
Just like that. So you have your old bolt carrier group hanging out. Let's say there's the zombie apocalypse happens. You still have your old bolt carrier group just in case. But with this, it's quick and easy and compliant. You can go to the range. You can sight your AR in. If you have a new optic, something like that, you can easily sight your AR in with a KaliKey. But I've also seen people compete with these. High-trained people who compete with it, and charge it each time. It takes a little bit more time than a semi-automatic, but I've seen people that can still get the fundamentals down, still use their AR, still do all the things that they need to do, and, like I said, have all the ridiculously evil features.
What's the cost of a KaliKey?
$89 for the KaliKey, or if you buy it attached to the bolt carrier group, it's twice that. It's $185.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all, and it's so easy. And I think that one of the reasons I wanted to review this, number one, is I love the concept. I love the company. I love the owner. They're doing a fantastic job. But I'm seeing a lot of people that just aren't putting it together on why this is so genius, why it's easy, it's quick.
Yeah. Well, maybe next week we'll bring in an AR and just show people that still are maybe in the dark, like me.
Okay.
Well, because I don't own an AR.
Yeah.
So it was a great presentation, but it's still in my mind. I can't. Of course,
can't picture it.
There's nothing up there anyway.
Basically, all you do, you pull the trigger, you charge the handle. You pull the trigger, you charge the handle. So by charging the handle, that means you're grabbing that handle and you're pulling it back,
and then slide a new one in.
And then that's what loads the next bullet in.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So and like I said, to change a bolt carrier group, you just pull it out one piece.
If you can do it, anybody.
Oh
can do
yeah,
it.
there are no springs to fly across the room.
And
There's
he
no,
is the spring loser if there ever was one.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's really, and Ascanio, his KaliKey has fantastic customer service too. So if anything happens, these are available for mil-spec ARs, and they're available for most AR-10s. The problem is an AR-10, which is typically a 30 caliber, 308 caliber AR. They don't. There's no mil-spec for AR-10s because the military doesn't use AR-10s. So some of them are built a little differently than others, but most AR-10s can take the KaliKey. So if you have an AR-10, it's perfect. It's perfect.
All right. Well, folks, if you ever need one, I mean, that's the place to go, to KaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. And if you have any questions, you can call them. Just Google KaliKey, and all the information is there. And you can chat with them if you have any questions, and if there's folks like Gun Range San Diego, A.O. Sword, all of them can put it in for you.
Yep.
Or at least show you how to do it, so and I bet you if you go to KaliKey.com, there's a video that shows you how to do it.
Yeah, well, installing it's super easy. Well, I would recommend, though, my personal opinion is to buy the bolt carrier group with the KaliKey already installed.
Right. Then that way you don't have to fool with it.
You don't have to mess with it. It takes a little bit of doing to actually install the KaliKey onto your bolt carrier group.
Right.
And you got to be smarter than Joe can do it.
And this is from an expert, folks. I'm telling you, this is from an expert that has a problem with springs. Okay, so anything that, and I'm the same way. I like to go online, or I like to have somebody show it to me first, because if there's a way to put it in backwards, I will do it.
Yeah, the what's the acronym? DIY, do it yourself. I'm DDIM. DDIM. Don't do it myself.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right. Welcome back to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
And by the way, folks, if you're watching Facebook Live, we show it at the Studio Perfect. You're getting it 90 degrees off. We'll be working on that all next week, and we apologize profusely.
That's board op Brendan's job security,
And
because he knows how
not
to do it right.
Here today, so we'll horsewhip him when we see him. Hey, folks, A.O. Sword Firearms Gun Store. That's who's sponsoring this segment. Thousands of pandemic buyers just found out what San Diegan shooters have already known. A.O. Sword Firearms in El Cajon has the widest selection of guns in the county. A.O. Sword has hundreds of different guns, new and used, in stock, and everything you could want for an AR-15. Whether you're looking for the latest competition rifle, combat pistol, or collectible cowboy iron, you'll find it all at A.O. Sword. They are also professional gunsmiths with a full machine shop. They can clean, repair, upgrade, or even customize your gun, including Cerakote. Check out A.O. Sword's legal and technical updates on Facebook or on aosword.com. And with that being said, our firearms technician, David Chong, is on the line. Hey, Dave, how you doing, buddy?
It's a good day. Thank you very much.
It was a beautiful day today, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Got out and celebrated a birthday with a friend, even though we're not supposed to get together with folks. So let's just say it happened remotely and with social distancing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Bah humbug. Get together with folks.
So you had a meeting with the ATF?
Yeah, so last week we talked about an issue that David had with a transfer that had to do
that off-roster pistol.
Yeah, the off-roster pistol. Everybody knows. If you don't know, you have to in order to sell a pistol in California, it has to be one on the safe handgun roster, which means it has to go through a series of tests, which is neither here nor there. But the problem is it has to include a part that doesn't exist, which is a micro-stamping firing pin. And that technology literally doesn't exist, but law enforcement can actually obtain those unsafe handguns, but the us plebes out there, we're not allowed to do it. So what I wanted to do was talk a little bit about a meeting that we attended. David was kind enough to invite me to a meeting with the ATF. And David, I just wanted to, could you kick off and talk a little bit about what happened at that meeting?
Yeah, well, back in February, before COVID blew things up, I got a unusual invitation to introduce federal firearms licensees to, quote, valuable information and answer your questions about Project Guardian and what all FFL dealers needed to know. I thought, well, that's very interesting. And then as I found out more information, this ATF informational session is being hosted by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, Southwest District. So that means that the U.S. Attorney's Office, who would, of course, prosecute violations, was working with the ATF to host this meeting. That sounds pretty serious and a little bit scary. So I thought, I really ought to hook San Diego County Gun Owners into this loop and counter you as a honorary employee so that you could get in. And needless to say, it was a shocking meeting, right, Michael?
It was, and at first, Bob Brewer, the U.S. Attorney, he basically said, "Hey, we're partners in this, and we need your help, and we don't want bad guys to get guns." And I think everybody in the room thought, "Yeah, nobody wants bad guys to get guns." And honestly, David, for the first couple minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes, I thought, maybe this wasn't a necessary meeting for me. It looks like they're just kind of talking about some paperwork. And I actually asked the question, well, what about because I thought this is probably a really good opportunity. What do you guys want to see in a transfer of an off-roster pistol from out of state? And lo and behold, that's what the whole meeting was about. The rest of the slides on this guy's PowerPoint was about that very thing. Is that pretty accurate, David?
3-hour meeting. Turns out Project Guardian is, disturbingly, the ATF and the U.S. Attorney prosecuting, investigating and assisting the California DOJ with California gun laws regarding off-roster handguns. Now, I think everybody understands there's no such thing as a national handgun roster. Only California has this crazy thing where we can only get 1990s guns because nothing new can be introduced in the state after they mandated that anything new added to the roster has to have a micro stamp on it. So this is the ATF saying, well, we're doing this new initiative from up on high in the organization during a supposedly, Republican pro-Second Amendment administration in the White House that's going to aggressively investigate and prosecute violations of the California safe handgun roster.
And that, by the way, the most common response I got when I tell people about this meeting is, "Oh, no, you must be mistaken. ATF is federal. That's a state law. They don't get involved in that." But you actually brought that question up. You brought it to their attention and said, "Hey, I need clarification on this. These are state laws." And what was their response?
I can't remember specifically other than, you'd have to talk to them. We're just assisting them. We don't understand the myriad of their laws, so we're not going to comment. I'm like, wait a minute, then why aren't they here? Because that's everything that you're talking about. And what they said, look, all we want you to understand is if you violate the California handgun roster, that's a misdemeanor. But if you forge paperwork in order to violate that handgun roster, that's a federal felony. So you fools are committing felonies to avoid misdemeanors. To which I said, well, wait a minute. I perform these transfers all the time. They're under limited circumstances. There are exemptions to this law. No, there are no exemptions, says the their counsel, their attorney. No, there are no. Well, pardon me, but there are, I would say. And to which he said, "You're wrong." And I said, "Well, excuse me I don't mean to be argumentative, but this code, this statute says under these conditions we can do that." He says, "You'd be violating the law." I said, "I'm not violating the law. I do it all the time." "Well, then you haven't been caught." And this is all verbatim. Actually, I have been caught. I've been inspected, showed them what I've been doing, cited the penal code, and they've said, "Oh, yes, this is exactly how we want you to do it." So I've continued to do it, and it's continued to be approved. Well, that shouldn't be, and you're going to get fined and cited and put out of business. Okay.
This was truly the most intimidating meeting I've ever been to, and I've been to some intimidating meetings, and I'm, if you know me, I am not intimidated. And I walked out of that meeting going, wow, this is truly what they mean when they talk about the ATF being a predatory agency. They were absolutely looking to arrest people who were, getting a gift from a parent from out of state because, mom or dad said, "Hey, we're going to do something nice and give our son in California a Gen 5 Glock rather than the Gen 3 Glock that we can get out here." It was really, really intimidating. So and I thought it was interesting, David, that this whole thing started out with, we want to keep we want to keep guns out of the hands of bad guys. Well, Mexican drug cartels don't care if they have a Glock 5 or a Glock 3. It doesn't matter, to them. But the whole thing was a ridiculous charade. So what are have you adjusted any of the ways that you do business, or how exactly? What can you tell us about transfers of off-roster pistols? What are some pitfalls? What's the legal way to do it?
Sure. Well, yes and no. Yes, I've fundamentally adjusted my business, and then no, it's business as usual, which is, by the way, in complete and absolute compliance with the law. And it was very funny. I think you were present, Michael, towards the end of the meeting. After everyone had cleared the room, then their attorney comes over to me and says, "Look, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Under certain unique circumstances, it is legal to perform these transfers, but we don't want to confuse people." So he, in private, he says, "Yes, you're right. There are ways to do this, but we don't want to confuse people. We don't want these off-roster transfers happening." Wow. So you're admitting privately only that there are legal transfers, and I'm not saying loopholes. I'm saying within the law, it is perfectly legal in certain circumstances to transfer these guns, and we'll talk about which circumstances.
Wow. You should have said, "Could you mention that again in my button?"
So you know who had left the room by then, David, was, I don't know if you remember that. I'm not sure if you and I talked about this, but in the room were 5 or 6 suits. And I didn't recognize them. I didn't know. They weren't gun shop owners. They weren't FFLs that I knew. No. And so I talked to them afterwards. These were staff members from the city attorney's office, the city attorney of San Diego. And their whole purpose of being there was to figure out more ways that they can take guns away from people and bust people. So that ATF attorney told these city attorney workers that there are no exceptions, gave them false information, people that were just looking to bust gun owners, and they had already left by the time the attorney came up and told you that, David. I can't tell you how irresponsible and horribly unethical that is. And this is me talking, Michael Schwartz, San Diego County Gun Owners. Don't get it confused. The ATF is a predatory agency, and I think that they should absolutely be ashamed of themselves for what they did. But I digress.
Here's what we continue to do. We continue to follow the law by legally transferring off-roster handguns that happen to be gifted from direct lineage parents, grandparents, sons and daughters, or grandchildren, directly up the line, no brothers and sisters, et cetera, et cetera. And these truly do have to be gifts. So Bob the Californian can't come in and say, "Hey, I'm going to go have my dad buy me a Glock Gen 5 in Colorado. Can he send it to me?" No, because you just said that you're going to go set this up for him to create a straw purchase for a gun that he absolutely intends for you to be the owner of. Now, what he can do is tell me that my dad wants me to buy this. But if he's the one directing the transaction, it's completely illegal. But if dad says, hey, what gun would you like me to buy? Because that's what I want to do for you. Or what would you like for your birthday? Oh, Dad, honestly, I'd love a gun. Oh, well, which one would you like? If it's motivated out of truly a gift, then and the California resident happens to say which gift he'd prefer, that's legal. If the California resident says, Dad, I can't get this gun in California. The only way I can get it is if you gift it to me. I know it's not my birthday, but I'll send you the money. And there again is a key. If the person in California is sending the money and it's not a gift at all, it's just a straw purchase, literally, then it's completely illegal. When it is a true gift to a direct lineage, they send a copy of their driver's license, say I, me, name at this address, hereby gift this gun with this serial number to my state the relation who lives at this place, and they send it on to us. We exchange FFL information. If they want to send it by FFL, they don't really have to. It's a handgun. They can send it by registered carrier like FedEx or UPS directly to us, the FFL. And then we do a background check here, and the person gets an off-roster gun completely within the law.
After 10 days.
Yeah, after 10 days or more, because the
right, because you got to go through all of it.
David, what if California resident goes and visits out-of-state parent at their out-of-state in Arizona, and parent has the firearm,
hands it to him.
Here's your gift.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. It's a surprise. What's the proper procedure? What's the best practice legally, for that person to bring it back to California?
Same exact thing as I previously described, because that person can say, "Oh, thank you so much. What a surprise!" But they have to leave it there in that state. It is federally illegal to, even if you are directly related, to directly transfer a gun across state lines.
There you go.
That is federally controlled. So even though it's a gift from mom or dad, you cannot take it home with you. You've got to get it sent to your local FFL and go through a background check.
Did you ever think you'd have to be a lawyer to own a gun store?
It's a sad thing, and that's why, unlike, let's say, Texas, where gun stores are almost like 7-Elevens,
right?
Here we are few, far between, and often going out of business. It is a tough job.
Well, if there's anyone that's going to be a gun lawyer, you'd be a good one. All right, buddy. Hey, it's always good talking to you, folks. We're going to have to take a small break because Sam the Gunman's coming up on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. This is Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks. California assault weapon laws make it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? KaliKey converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with KaliKey. Check out KaliKey at KaliKey.com. That's KaliKey.com. U.S. Law Shield. Hey, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with the comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. What's your plan? After you defend yourself or your family, consider a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. Home mortgage interest rates have dropped, and if you are looking to buy or refi, or if you're considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris at Wiley at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/Alpine. All right.
There it is.
Here it is. Hey, Sam, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Good. He even gets that right. He doesn't say I'm good. He says I'm well. He must have a mom who's really into grammar.
Yes.
All right. So, Stump, my nephew, Sam the Gunman, is my 20-year-old nephew, and he's extremely good with gun trivia. So every week we get a letter, an email. Someone emails us a question, and we read it to Sam live on the air. It's the first time he's ever heard this question. And if you can stump my nephew, if we read your question, you get a T-shirt. If you stump my nephew, you get a T-shirt and a hat. So, without further ado, question today comes from Harmony. That's a beautiful name. Harmony, who's from San Carlos, asks, what is the more popular name for the 7.65 by 17 millimeter SR Browning or the 7.65 millimeter Browning short? Okay, so the cartridge she's asking.
I got it.
No.
Thanks for the question, Harmony. Now, this question gets to the kind of confusing way that ammunition cartridges are named. I should lead off. I should have led off with the short answer: 32 ACP or 32 automatic.
How do you know that? That is ridiculous that you know that. That is seriously,
this
honestly.
Question, give you a little bit of background. This question gets to the confusing way cartridges are named. Now, in this case, the cartridge in question, 32 ACP, was designed by John Browning while he was working at Colt, hence ACP, automatic Colt pistol. But in European countries using the metric system, they manufactured and sold ammunition in 32 ACP as 7.65 by 17 millimeter, which is the nominal bullet diameter and the case length. And the SR on the end stands for semi-rimmed because the rim on the case protrudes just ever so slightly, but not as much as a true rimmed cartridge like 38 Special.
I want like an investigation. I don't know how you knew that.
I don't know how he's related to you.
I had to look this thing up so thoroughly, and honestly, I didn't believe the answer. So I kept going, no. Because 32 ACP, people have been calling it 32 ACP for like 100 years. This isn't like a Johnny-come-lately round. I didn't believe it. I thought, well, I wonder if they're talking about something different or whatever. And I actually spent a lot of time doing a bunch of Google research with my Google PhD. And I can't believe you got this. Any idea why you know that, Sam?
That is a fantastic question, but I think you've stumped me there.
That's awesome job, man.
At one time, 32 ACP was the most popular pistol cartridge in the world, and a lot of those pistols chambered for it were pocket pistols coming out of Europe, guns like the Walther PPK, and a lot of different models from FN, just to name a few. So a lot of ammunition was made and sold under the designation 7.65 by 17 millimeter SR.
And it's a totally viable. I don't know. So some people will probably argue with me, but it's for most folks believe it's a very viable self-defense round. And it's been, it's got a long track record. There's still, firearms that you can get that are 32. Do you guys sell any at your shop there?
The only modern pistol being produced in 32 ACP that isn't just an older design still in production or a replica of an older design, to my knowledge, is the Keltec P32.
Yep.
And 32 ACP ammunition has actually gotten very difficult to find, comparatively speaking. So you can actually get a 380 or even 9mm pistol nowadays that is as small or smaller than a lot of those old 32 pocket pistols from back in the day. So your ability to get good stopping power in a small package has really increased as of late.
Yeah, 380 kind of took over for the spot that 32 had for so long.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's awesome, Sam. Very good job, man. If I weren't so embarrassed that I don't know all this, I would be proud of you.
Well, I certainly appreciate the sentiment, and of course, whenever you have a question like that you don't feel is worth asking on the air, or that you don't want to embarrass yourself with, just feel free to send that to me in a message.
Little knucklehead. I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah, it's Mr. Knucklehead to you.
That's right.
Take after you in that regard.
Ooh, touche.
Awesome job, Sam.
All right, buddy. Keep up the good work.
Thanks. You guys enjoy your day.
All right. Hey, folks, I just found out Michael Schwartz was on the Carl DeMaio show.
Yep.
And he mentioned gun prom, and 8 people signed up.
Yep. 10.
10.
Yep.
I want to see that 15. So go to SDCGO. Oh, no, go to www.gunprom.com, and I want to see 15 people sign up and say you heard it right here on Gun Owners Radio.
There you go.
Come on, we can knock that little guy out. Yep. Hey, folks, for all your podcasters out there, if you want to hear any of these shows, just go to your podcast outlook, put Gun Owners Radio in, and was it Gun Owners or The Gun Owners right now?
Well, no, it's gunownersradio.com.
Okay.
Or if you're on Facebook, go just Gun Owners Radio.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And you can go to, of course, you can go to SDCGO.org as well. But, hey, we really want to thank all our sponsors, the Gun Range San Diego, Firearms Legal Protection, San Diego County Gun Owners, U.S. Law Shield, KaliKey, PRMI Mortgage, the Dillon Law Group, A.O. Sword Firearms, and we really want to thank Mr. Schwartz, Mr. Jamisi, Sam the Gunman, and this week we have Randy in the box. Did a phenomenal job, and for any information or questions on maybe how to fix our Facebook Live, go to gunownersradio.com, leave us a note, tell us how to do it, because when we looked through the phone, it was perfect, but when it came out, it was 90 degrees off. It wasn't our fault. We try, but we're not as technical as some of you folks out there, so just don't tell us how to do it, or don't tell us about it, tell us how to do it. And again, I want to thank everybody that listens to our show, and remember, if you're a gun owner, 2 things you need to do: join San Diego County Gun Owners, and listen to Gun Owners Radio every Sunday from 4 to 6. And again, go to any of your podcasts or any of our sponsors carry the show as well. So if you're cruising around and you want to see what our sponsors are about, you can also listen to the show. Share it with all your friends, and go to our Facebook page and like it and share it, especially if you think what we're giving you on the air is vital information, and we would appreciate that as well. So
there you go. Give that content out. We're producing a lot of really good content.
Yes, we are.
But it doesn't matter unless people hear it. So help us out.
And by the way, Bob Siegel is in the house, and I tell you what, I've been listening to the last couple of shows, and oh my gosh, he is just
en fuego.
Tons of good quality information right here on FM 96.1. AM 1170.
The Answer.